stories inside fandoms sometimes behave like domino chains. One tiny push, and suddenly thousands of pieces start falling in directions nobody expected. The Z and Noo-Noo situation is exactly that kind of chain reaction. A moment that began with angry posts spiraled into a conversation about fandom culture, boundaries, and the emotional limits of the artists fans claim to love. The BL fandom just witnessed something that almost never happens. For years he stayed calm. He ignored the drama, he refused to engage in fan wars, but when violent threats started targeting NuNew, Z finally snapped. And when his furious message hit social media, the entire fandom exploded. Fans were shocked. Some were cheering, others were furious, because this wasn't just another celebrity statement, it felt like a warning. And what happened next exposed the darkest side of fan culture, setting the stakes. When people talk about one of the strongest partnerships in Thai BL today, the names that immediately come up are Z Pruk Panish and NuNew Chawarin. Their journey together didn't just create a successful series, it created a fandom, a massive one. After their breakout success in Cutie Pie the series, their chemistry became one of the most talked about dynamics in the BL world. Fans adored them. Clips of their interactions went viral. Every smile, every glance, every playful moment became content. But behind the excitement of a huge fandom lies something much more complicated, because intense love from fans can sometimes transform into something dangerous. And in this case, that's exactly what happened. So today we're unpacking the full story behind Z's explosive reaction, the fan war that pushed things too far, and why this moment may change how BL artists handle toxic fandom behavior forever. But before we get to the post that shook the internet, you need to understand what makes Z and NuNew's connection so important to fans. 1. The bond fans fell in love with. When Z and NuNew first began appearing together publicly, fans immediately noticed their dynamic. Z had this calm, protective presence. NuNew brought a softer energy, gentle, expressive, and emotionally open. The contrast worked perfectly. In interviews, Z often looked at NuNew with a kind of quiet attentiveness. During fan meetings, NuNew would tease Z endlessly. Their chemistry felt natural, not forced. And in the BL industry, authenticity is the magic ingredient that turns a pairing into something unforgettable. Fans didn't just enjoy their performances, they became emotionally invested in their relationship. Over time, a narrative formed inside the fandom. Z became the protector. NuNew became the artist fans wanted to shield. It was sweet, it was heartwarming, but this kind of emotional attachment can sometimes blur a line, the line between support and ownership. And once that line disappears, fandoms can become unpredictable. Which brings us to the moment everything began to unravel, because the controversy didn't begin with a huge scandal. It started with something absurdly small. 2. The spark that started the fan war. Like many online conflicts, the beginning was almost trivial. A clip circulated online, someone misinterpreted a comment. A few fans began arguing about NuNew's career choices, then comparisons started appearing. Some people began comparing the Z NuNew pairing to other BL ships, others started criticizing NuNew directly. At first, it looked like a typical fandom argument, the kind that happens every week on social media, but then the tone began to change. Insults turned into harassment turned into coordinated attacks, and eventually, the situation crossed a terrifying line, because suddenly messages appeared that were no longer criticism, they were threats, violent ones. Fans who saw the posts immediately began reporting them. But by that point the screenshots were already spreading, and someone else saw them too. Z. 2. The breaking point. People often imagine celebrities as distant from the chaos of the internet, but the truth is much simpler. They see everything. Friends send them screenshots, managers warn them about trending posts. Fans tag them in conversations constantly. So imagine opening your phone and discovering violent threats aimed at someone you care about. For years, Z had chosen silence whenever fan wars erupted, but this time, silence felt impossible, because this wasn't just drama, this was about safety. And in that moment, Z made a decision he had avoided for years. He spoke out. Suspense, what happened next shocked the fandom, because no one expected him to say it like this. 4. The post that shook the internet. When Z's message appeared online, fans instantly knew something was different. The tone wasn't diplomatic, it wasn't vague, it was angry. He called out the toxic behavior directly. He condemned the people spreading threats. And he made one thing crystal clear. NuNew deserved respect, not harassment. Within minutes, screenshots spread across every platform, Twitter exploded, TikTok edits appeared analyzing every word, fans debated whether this was brave or reckless, but the biggest shock wasn't the anger, it was the boundary. For years, many artists avoided confronting toxic fans directly. Z just shattered that silence, and the fandom reaction was immediate. 5. The fandom divides. Once the post went viral, the BL community split into factions. One side praised Z for defending NuNew. To them, his reaction felt justified, even necessary. Another group argued that celebrities shouldn't involve themselves in fan conflicts. They claimed his message would only escalate tensions. And then there were the extremists, the same voices that had started the harassment in the first place. Instead of backing down, they doubled down, which only intensified the controversy. Suddenly hashtags were trending, threads analyzing Z's message appeared everywhere, and the debate spread far beyond one fandom. But beneath all the arguments was a question nobody could ignore. How did things escalate to this point in the first place? 6. The dark psychology of fan wars. Here's the strange truth about fandom culture. Fans form emotional bonds with artists they've never met. That connection can be beautiful. It builds communities, creates friendships, inspires creativity, but when emotions become too intense, something strange can happen. Some fans begin believing they have a right to control the artist they admire. They start policing friendships, judging career choices, attacking anyone they see as a threat. It's not logical, but online environments amplify extreme behavior. And because social media rewards outrage with attention, the loudest voices often become the most toxic. That's the dangerous feedback loop that fuels fan wars, and when threats enter the equation, the consequences become serious. 7. The human cost. Behind every trending hashtag is a human being. Actors in the BL industry face enormous pressure already. They must maintain constant fan engagement, promote projects, participate in fan service, and navigate a fandom culture that sometimes blurs the line between fiction and reality. When harassment becomes part of that environment, the emotional toll can be severe. Some artists withdraw from social media, others struggle with anxiety. A few quietly leave the industry. Moments like this remind everyone of something simple: celebrities are still people, and people have limits. 8. Why this moment matters. Z's reaction may represent a turning point. More artists in the entertainment industry are beginning to push back against toxic fan behavior. They're drawing boundaries. They're refusing to tolerate harassment disguised as support. And that shift is necessary, because fandom should be a celebration, not a battlefield. Artists shouldn't fear the communities that claim to love them. Final reflection. At the center of all this chaos are two people, Z and NuNew, two artists who built a partnership that fans around the world admire. Their chemistry created joy for millions of viewers. Their friendship inspired countless fan communities. But moments like this reveal the fragile side of fame, because the same passion that builds fandoms can also destroy them. And maybe that's the lesson this controversy leaves behind. Loving an artist should never mean hurting them. Support should feel like protection, not pressure, and if the BL fandom truly values the artists it celebrates, then moments like this should serve as a wake-up call, because respect is the foundation that keeps fandoms alive. Without it, everything else falls apart.